Hello, precious people. I'm Jacqueline Parks. Welcome to my studio. Oh my gosh, I've got a door open over there. I didn't mean to do that, but it's just what it is. So today we are going to talk about developing a style so that it's recognizable as your art. And that's something that's kind of important in the art world if you want to start selling and have collectors. So people who want to purchase your artwork. And for me, I know that I've got so many different outlets of creating that I'm not sure if they translate to every different medium that I use, if it's my style or not. But I do know that if you're looking at some of my watercolors, you do see a recognizable style to that. And so basically what I want to show you here, if I can do this real quick. So this is one I did yesterday at um, my watercolor class that I did, and we were painting magnolias. Apparently magnolias are pretty popular right now, so that's pretty cool. And they're blooming. And I did a little research on magnolias, and they're kind of an interesting tree that has these flowers that aren't pollinated by bees. They're pollinated by beetles because they're so strong, these flowers. And who knows, maybe that is why down here in the South, magnolias are so popular because they are strong. And I think Southern people are very strong. I wanted to show you guys, this is the one I did in my sketchbook that everybody was oohing and on over on my Instagram and Facebook. So I'm gonna meet with a printer and see about getting prints made of this. I do like this one too. I may end up getting prints made of this one. I'm gonna meet with a guy and see what he thinks, because this is a 5x5. I don't know if that can be zoom, if this size can be printed larger or not. So doing a larger one, I can probably print this one bigger. I did like that this had the pen mark, although not everybody likes the pen mark in a different style. So basically you can see side by side that it is kind of my style, I suppose. But I just kind of painted this one pretty quick. When I'm teaching, it's not something I can really focus and do in great detail. But I did like seeing all the different paintings that people made yesterday, and I want to be able to share it with you guys. Let me see if I can do that. So sometimes it's quick on my computer, and sometimes it is not so quick. So let me see if I can figure it out, if I can do it. Oh, I found it. Okay. That was good. That was good, and it was fast. But now I gotta shrink it down. I don't know how to do that in OBS to just have my photo be the right size the minute I download it. But sometimes, let's see. So here are some of the paintings we did yesterday. So from the other students, mine's the top right, and but I love them all. They're just so beautiful in their own right. And if you zoom in on the different ones, you can see how different each style is. So I love that each one of these paintings is beautiful in their own right. They're unique and they're gorgeous, and they will bless someone if they decide to give it to someone or just hang it on their wall for their own enjoyment. So I do like seeing all the different styles that come out when I teach classes, which is really cool. And I think I've mentioned before where there's been someone who just totally did the opposite of what I told them to do. And what ended up happening is they had this really thick black line around all their subject, and it was just really pretty, and I enjoyed looking at their artwork. So let me show you what I've got too. Um, so I have these books. You know, I love going to the library, right? So if you can't afford to buy art books, just go to the library. The library's got such great books. So I'm gonna be like saying yes, support your local library. Support them by not returning your books, and then you owe them fees, like I do all the time. So I think I had to pay $7 last time because I had my books way too long. I had them way too long. So these are the three that I have just gotten out of the library. So hopefully they're not due anytime soon. I think I got them out over a week ago, and you probably get them for 2 weeks. So this one was really cute. I love the fun kind of character type of the cats and the people, and it's just really fun. Look at that. So like now that I've seen this this artist's book about watercolor, I probably could recognize her style if I saw it again. And I could be like, oh my gosh, that's Terry Runyon. So that's something. This one is a bunch of different artists are put together in this book. And I just really enjoyed flipping through it and looking at the different artwork, but all watercolor. Like, look at the darks in this and how bold the composition is. So like that's by Bill James. This is by Mary Lizotte. Look at how realistic this one is. And we could go through the whole book if we wanted to. Look at how beautiful. Look at that. I mean, almost like a photograph. It's just gorgeous. And the really darks in this is awesome. So I don't know why the light is shining and making a shoo. There we go. Maybe if I go like that. I don't know. But like look at that, the play yard. Look at all these marks. Those are really interesting. So you can go through here and you can be like, okay, who, they have definite style maybe. I'm not sure if there's any repeats in here of people's artwork. But like think of famous artists, especially in watercolor. So you could say Georgia O'Keeffe. She had some really beautiful watercolors that she painted. And so this was just a book of different artists. So going through it, it's just kind of inspiration for me. Look at that. That's really cool. Dance of the Dolphins. So some of these are kind of abstract. That reminds me of Georgia O'Keeffe, but it's not her. So yeah, going through this book, it was really interesting. I also got this one, Watercolor for the Soul, which I just started looking at this one. So this one has more like exercises you can do, techniques, and things like that. And if you're trying to find your style, I would say you should paint and not worry about finding a style at first. You should just get out there, get your paints, your watercolor, your brushes, and start creating and see what you like. Is that even in front of the Zoom lunch? So like this lady's style is really very very pretty. I like it. Crisp and clean is what I would call this, but still whimsical. So I would say instead of trying to force a style, you may want to just begin to paint and see if there's a style that comes out. Because, like for me, this one was inspired by something, but it's very abstract. So it's not really a lot. It's kind of in my style. These trees are very much what I do. Some of these flowers are very similar to other flowers I do. And probably the sky is. But all together, it's very abstract to me. I liked painting this one, and I think this kind of represents my style, where I just kind of throw some paint on there and put some squiggles, and it looks kind of like the subject. I've been starting to do these scriptures with artwork, so maybe in the near future, if I do enough of these, you'll be like, oh, that's a Jacqueline Parks. So that would probably be cool. I did really enjoy doing these with the pen. And the pen that I use, and these dinosaurs. So yeah, I think you can kind of tell it's my artwork, I think. It's getting better as I continue painting. And I'm not focusing so much on being exact with the details. I'm being more loose with my painting style. So I'm not really focused on how I'm doing the artwork. I'm just kind of trying to get my idea down on paper. So like in this one, I was just trying to do a ancient vessel. Like a water jug, like the woman at the well. I don't know if that's what it looked like in Jesus's time, but this is starting to get thicker on this side. So we might have to just go like that. There we go. So what are we going to paint today? Does anyone have any suggestions? Do you guys want to see something? I don't know. Do you guys want to see something more abstract, or something more? I got so much stuff on my desk. Move stuff. Move. Don't need you all cramped up in there. Although I do think it's good to have the paints in the picture. Sometimes when I zoom in, you can't see the paint. But if you like having that in there, let me know, because I'll keep it. And let me see if we can get some light on this subject. Can't really get things to clamp down for whatever reason. I need more things here. I need like a bar right here. That's what I need. Something right there that would make this easier to stand out. I don't know, maybe you can see that. And so now I got my paper towel, I've got a brush, I've got water, and I've already got some paint on my palette. What am I going to paint here? So if you don't have really a plan on what you're going to paint, sometimes you can just paint whatever you want and be abstract about it. But I think what I want to paint is, normally have like a little reference photo. I don't have a reference photo on me right now. But, a lot of times I take pictures on my walk, and I didn't take one today, but I was thinking there's some really pretty hydrangeas around, and just really, really pretty scenery, really pretty flowers blooming. Although, okay, so my friend, she did say something about wanting a sunset sky with cows. So maybe I'll do that. So I'm going to start real loose and make this like the horizon, okay? And when you do something, you want to just kind of do it real loose. Let's see what happens. And then to paint my little cow, I may have to do a couple lift ups and see what happens. So, and painting a cow can be kind of hard and difficult if you're not real good at drawing. But again, we're not trying to be perfect here. We're just trying to get an idea of a cow. So hopefully that will look kind of like a cow. And then I can have some other little cows right here. Maybe put some legs and another little cow over here. And they're just shapes. So, you know, maybe when you start doing your style, you'll start being like, you know, what do I have to make it realistic? Do I have to make it abstract? Do I have to make it look more and more like the real thing? And I would say just experiment with whatever you want to do. You don't always have to create these perfect paintings that are photorealistic. If your style, and you found your style is more, I don't know, maybe your style is more loose and more I'm gotta get kind of the sides of those guys going. But see, I like this mark in here. Like, so if this is our grass area, look at how there's just like skips across the paper. I kind of like that. And I'm not sure about these grasses. I may go back in there and do something with them. But now we're going to look at a sunset color for that sky. And I'm just going to go in there with some red. And then I'm going to do some yellow. And definitely some yellows down here. And maybe a little bit of purple. I don't know, sunsets are so pretty. And maybe this kind of blue. And I'm just putting color down right now, just like not worrying about what it looks like, because it's just kind of getting on there. I can't tell if you can see it. It's kind of shiny. Look at that. Super pretty. So I may do a little bit brighter yellow in here, because yellow and purple is real pretty together. It's contrasting and just kind of gorgeous. The one thing is there is a tree over here, so I'm going to make some room for that. Let's see. But see, I'm right now just letting the paints kind of bleed together and do their own thing. So I'm not really being, I'm not forcing anything, to be honest. I'm just kind of letting it do its thing. And see, I put my cows in there, and I do have, I kind of want to put a little bit of this kind of orange on them just to get that glow from the sky. And I will go back in with some shadowing in a minute, but right now I'm just focused on doing that sky. And of course, if the sun is right here, you're going to have to make a little dot of white. Now you can do that at the end with some gouache, or you can kind of dip it your brush and get a little tiny white speck for that. But yeah, we can go back in with that at the end. But what do you think of that so far? You like that so far? It's kind of pretty. And I love this sketchbook. I was telling the students in my class yesterday about how I got this from Amazon. I got a 6-pack of them for like 36 bucks or something. So it was definitely like they were pretty cheap to get them that way. And the quality paper's okay. It's not going to hold up to a lot of lifting and scrubbing, but it's pretty good quality and it's pretty smooth. If you like something that's in between hot press and cold press, this would be pretty good for it. So I'm looking at this, loving how it's looking. And you definitely can tell those are cows, but they're not done yet. So they're just kind of sitting there half done. And I will get back to doing some more as soon as everything dries on that. And I'm going to focus on my tree next. Another thing about finding your style that I've seen with, following different artists is that I can tell the colors that they use. So if you're using specific colors, that's probably going to be recognizable to your customers and to your clients. They're going to be like, okay, I want my little Yorkie dog to be painted by this artist because of the colors they use. So if you do that, if you have certain colors that you use a lot, then that's going to be recognizable to people. And so I'm going to put a tree in here. I may not make it as big as the tree in my photo reference. I may just do maybe I'll make it bigger. I don't know. It's hard to know what, like, I'm making this part up, to be honest. And just this is like how the branches would be if you could see them. And now I'm going to have to mix up a green for them leaves. And I like to mix a little bit of red into my green. That makes it a little bit more sage. And I think this is getting close to the color that I need. So I may end up putting some dots of the green. And see how it's kind of blending in with the branches I already painted in there. And I can even use the side of my brush. Yeah, so that's kind of pretty. You can still see the sun coming through the sky coming through there. And so that's good as a kind of first little something. First little something. Now a lot of times you'll notice I do some splattering. Now if I don't want it all over the place like that, I'll just lift it up. I should have probably covered it, but sometimes I just go a little crazy. Have a little wayward spots here. And do some of that green down here. And got on this side, I'm going on that side. May have to make some birds flying in the sky. I don't know. Something there. Can you see, guys, what I'm doing? I don't don't know if you're able to zoom in or not. But look at it, it's turning out pretty cool so far. And the splatters in the front, I'm not sure if I like all of those. I may have to do a little bit more. A little more green. I like this darker, this lighter yellowy green. So I like that. That looks pretty. And then, of course, things are not really as dark as I want them to be yet. So we're going to add a little Payne's Gray. And what I'll probably do here is define the cow's chest area. And then this cow as well. So I kind of like that. It's looking very unique. I like unique looking stuff. You know what I'm saying? Lifting. A lot of times with watercolor, you got to do a lot of lifting. You don't want it to look too out of context with your scene. And oh, another thing about your style. So like this brush I don't normally use, so you probably are thinking that this looks a little different than my norm. And I would say yes, it kind of looks a little different. Oop. I don't know. And it's stiffer. This is probably the one I use for my acrylic ink when I paint with that, because I like it having a more firm brush. I also use this one, I think is kind of firm. But my other paint brushes, where did I put them? So it is important if you have paint brushes, like what kind you use. And of course this one, I like using this one. It's called a rigger or a script. So you'll see a little difference when I start using some of this. And see these marks? I like making marks like this. That to me is kind of a cool little style. I like it. And then of course I'm going to put some I did not want that little thing in the sky. Although I could add a bird. You never know. Bird in the sky. Sometimes you make a mistake and you want to be like, what should I do about that mistake? Well, sometimes they're happy little mistakes, like Bob Ross would say. So let me see what happens if I just dab in some of this. Some of this. And if I want to put a little bit of yellow, kind of accentuate some yellow in the grass back there. If I don't like that, I just use another brush and kind of lift it. A lot of times I do have that bleeding that comes down from my paintings, so I like that. I also try and focus on some contrasting. I like this brush. I don't know if you can tell a difference. me doing stuff with this. Like there is a difference, I think. See, just kind of giving him a little bit of a definition. But we don't want him to be too detailed because that's not what style I like. I like doing a little bit more of a loose style in between realism and abstract. I don't know. But I love the blooms. See, and with watercolor, you get these little pretty blooms that you really just can't even paint those. Those just kind of happen. And I've noticed like with acrylics, you can't really get that. These little marks, I don't know if you can get those with something. I guess it's the brush you use. So I really like how this is turning out. So I'm going to allow it to dry just a little bit, and I will darken the trunk, but it's still kind of wet in there. But I think it looks kind of pretty. And I don't know, I may add some scripture up here. You know, we'll see if you have some good scripture you want me to do. I know my friend said something about, was it Corinthians? I forget now. Yeah, you probably following what I'm doing on here. But I'll look it up. I'll look it up later, maybe. I don't know. But so yeah. Oh yeah. Let me do my lights, camera, action. So also, I want you to know, like, one of the most famous artists of all time, if you haven't guessed who that is, it's my favorite artist, which is Van Gogh. So I have this book about his artwork, and I've often wanted to copy it. So, like, let's say you like a certain style, and you wanna do that style. Like, you're interested in, like, for me, Van Gogh is impressionistic, so I really like that style. And so maybe I will try and paint like him. And I know there's a lot of different artists who do artwork in his style. So that's actually, you could say Van Gogh is a style, because let me see if you can see this. So like, here's a self-portrait of him, and you can see all the little tiny brush strokes. They're just all together making the image. So like, the further away you get from this, the more it would look real. But then up close, you just see all the little dots and things like that. He did some. The subject matter doesn't always matter for your style either. You can do different subject matter. As long as it's in your style, they'll still recognize it as yours. This one definitely. But now he used a lot of oils. Now I think there's one watercolor that sold recently of his that was like pretty, it went for a lot. And it was a watercolor. This is so pretty too. If you've ever seen the Van Gogh exhibit that's going around, it's so cool. I love it. So here's something just like reed pen and ink on paper. So that's kind of cool. I like that. And you can see his style. Even though it's not oil paint, you can see it's his style. And just like thick paint, he had all kinds of stuff. So I've painted his sunflowers before when I painted in acrylics. I always like the sunflowers. So I may have to do a whole series on some sunflowers, because I like sunflowers and things like that. I do like flowers in general and think they're really pretty to paint. So if you think there's a subject matter you want to paint, and you want to see me paint it, just send me a text, shoot it, go to my website, which is stampinturtles.com, and you can contact me through that. So that would be one way. You'd be like, can you paint some peonies? I've seen some artists painting peonies. I want to do some more hydrangeas. Look at my cabinets are all wide open. Wide open. You can see everything in there. Are they organized? I don't even know. Not really, huh? So that to me is just what finding your style would be. So you could be recognizable. In my city, there is a First Friday Art Walk, and my friend Linda and I went to it, and we went into like two different galleries and just kind of looked at the artwork, and you can see there's like a theme throughout one painter's artwork, so you can tell that that's theirs and even if it's not all on the same wall, like if they have it throughout the whole gallery, you'll walk through and you'll be like, that's the same as that one over there, like similar, and you'll look at the artist name and it's the same. So then you're like, aha, I can start to recognize their work. And that's kind of what galleries are looking for. If you want to get your artwork in a gallery, you probably need to have a consistent style. So for me, I probably am not as consistent as I'd like to be. And especially if I'm doing some experiments. So I'm doing some like little mixed media pieces. Like I want to put a magnet on that so it could be put, on the fridge, or these were just kind of fun to play with and do. I did some gold leaf on there. This was another one I did that was just kind of fun to do, playing around with words and watercolor and some metallic paints. So maybe you're going to take a couple years to practice and hone in on what you enjoy doing, because it really needs to be you at the end of the day. If you've ever practiced your signature when you were younger, trying to get something that looks kind of unique to you, but it's still your name. Like you sign your name, it's still your name, but you've practiced doing your J different, your E's different, how you dot your I, things like that. So playing around with your signature, you did that. And for me, I used to have pages of my signature, just copying it over and over, trying to finesse a different aspect that I really enjoyed. I also did something where I tried to forge my dad's signature. So like his was pretty recognizable. Like his was a very strong, distinct, and recognizable signature. So for me to copy that, it had to be exact, right? I could not deviate from what his J looked like. It couldn't be anything but this like cool looking J and the F and stuff. So and the pressure too. He had a heavy hand. He would press into that paper. So if I tried to do it real light, you would know it was not his signature. So it's kind of like now where I've got how I sign my artwork. I just kind of put my initials. I do kind of a cool little thing. Let me see if I can show you real quick. And I don't know if I have something I can write on real quick here. I'll just use this because it's a notes kind of thing. And I'll try and do it kind of big. So I put a lowercase j, and then the P is part of the J. So that's kind of how I do my signature when I sign one of my paintings. Now on the back, I do my full name. So, and it's just like that. So my full name on the back, but on the front, I kind of want it to be more of this symbol. It's almost like a symbol now. right? It's like this lowercase j with the P, and then I try and put the year right next to it. So sometimes it kind of looks like just the P, but if you get really zoomed in on there, you'll see it's got that J and it's got the dot. So, that's also something you might want to think about. Like, I really like the artist Leron Yaskowski. I'm really bad at saying his last name, but like how he does his, I think that's how he does it. I don't know if it's a capital N or not. I have to go look again. But like he capitalizes the R in the middle. So it's kind of cool. You guys play around with it. Whatever you like doing and whatever appeals to you, that's what you should do. But like with the oil paintings I've been doing, so these are water soluble oils. So this is like the moonlight reflecting on the ocean and the beach. And I did 3 of these. And they're just little small canvases that I got from Walmart. And they were very cheap. They were $1 for 3 of these. So, but the feeling of this, I was trying to go for kind of like a moonlit night strolling on the beach, and what would that feel like? Like I wanted to get the feeling of just like a calm, peaceful night. And so that's what I was working on doing. And I also have a couple others I'll show you. All right, so these are my other water soluble oil paints. So I did this one, which I think you can kind of still see my brush strokes and my style, even though it's a different medium. This was the one that Linda said she really liked from my other video. And I think this guy is kind of similar to what I would paint with watercolor. I think these are finally dry. It's only been a month. And my daughter just likes this one. And I do think that this is kind of more my style when I was doing acrylics, even though this is oil. And then this one, I was trying to do this other artist I follow, kind of similar to her work because I really like her work. So I thought, well, I'll try it and see if it's something I can replicate. And so this doesn't look exactly like hers. I think she uses a palette knife. I used a brush. And so that's why it's really important what you use. And this is still a little tacky where the oil's thicker. So that's going to take some time to really finish curing and drying. So I'm going to have to not stack this one for sure. But I do think that like it's a lot different using this medium than watercolor, and the looks are going to be a little different. They're not going to be exact like they are with my watercolors. My watercolors are light and loose and more bright. I let the water be more translucent, and the paints are more translucent. So that's why I really like watercolor. And, as much as I like mixed media, and I think it's important to experiment and try different mediums and see what you like. I had a class in college where there was this girl that she was drawing with pencil. We were all drawing with pencil. Well, then the next week we were supposed to draw with just pen. So for me, that was a struggle. I did not like drawing with pen because I can't erase with a pen. So that made it stressful for me, and I struggled with that week. And she like totally captured the essence of her subject matter in pen. She had the most out of everybody in the class. Her artwork that week was just phenomenal. I was like, this is so beautiful. You need to be selling these. And I just told her, I said, this is your medium pen. You need to like just start doing pen, pen only, no pencil. And but for me, pencil was mine. Like I was able to draw more realistically with pencil than I was with pen. And so I shied away from using pen after that week and didn't want to go back to it. Um, and so I think that that's an important aspect to find out about yourself and your art style. Like, let's just say you try drawing your subject matter with pen instead of pencil and see what happens. Because you cannot erase pen, not really, and you'll end up having to. Maybe it makes you focus better. I don't know. That could be why I had some issues because I don't focus that good. So I don't know, but I think the thing that we need to remember when we're trying new things with art is that if you don't enjoy it, don't keep doing it. So like I think that my friend Marianne. Oh hey Linda, it's good to see you in the chat. How are you doing? Um so I was just talking about how like Marianne didn't really like painting loose flowers with watercolor. She liked using her markers and doing more illustrated style. And someone just texted me. Who texted me? Oh, my honey, my hubby. I sent him something and he's like, that's good. So yay. Um, so yeah, and look at Linda. This is the one that you were saying you liked. And this is in the water soluble oil paints. So I don't know, it's kind of pretty, huh? I like it. And this, so I have kind of a different style when I'm painting with the the oil paint. It's kind of a different style. It's a little darker, it's a little thicker, it's a little I don't know. It's just a little different style with it. And then with the watercolor. So watercolor definitely I feel like this is my medium. I feel like watercolor is my medium. Like I don't know why I didn't find it before, but I did take a class like way back in my 20s and I ended up kind of blocking that out of my brain because it was just so frustrating how the guy taught me. And so, what I want to try and do when I teach y'all is to not be trying to make it frustrating for you. I want it to be something you enjoy. So, one thing that my students were asking me in the class yesterday was, do you paint the background first or do you paint the subject matter first? And I told them, I said, it's kind of a matter of preference. So I really kind of didn't give them a direct answer with that. I just kind of said you can paint the subject matter first and then the background, or you can paint the background and then the subject matter. So, like with this one, if you rewind, you'll see that I did the grass. I kind of lightly did the cows, and then I did the sky. Then I did the cows some more. Then I did the tree. Then I did the cows some more, and I did some more in the grass. And then I did the background horizon, and then I did some more on the tree. So I kind of went back and forth. And Linda says, yes, love it. So yeah, I was, kind of telling them it's a kind of a preference thing. So whatever you prefer, but you won't know what you prefer until you start trying different things. And so if you're just starting off as an artist, oh, thanks, Linda. That's so pretty. Um, so yeah, this was you inspired me to paint that. So you know how you said you wanted a sunset with a tree and cows. So that's it. And I think I did pretty good. And I don't know if I want to do some scripture at the top. Maybe. But I'm waiting a little bit for stuff to dry. And then I may add some more shadows. under that tree. I don't know. So, but it looks pretty, I think. And see, doesn't it kind of, it's my style too. Like you can tell that it's my style. And I do like the loose feel of the clouds in the sky. Um, Linda says, "You did amazing. Thank you, Linda. You're so sweet. And you're such a good friend. I was telling everyone, I don't know when you came on to the live, but I was telling them about how we went downtown and looked at all the art and how we had fun doing that. And just some of the different artwork that we saw was very recognizable as their style. And then, I don't know, I really liked that one guy who did the illustrations in the case. Those were really cool, of the animals and like some kind of typewriter stuff. So those were really cool. Um, so that's something too. Like you may want to introduce 2 or 3 different mediums into your artwork. You may want to do collage. You may want to do crayon. You may want to do oil or acrylic or just watercolor, but you may want to do more abstract or more um, realism. You may want to be more about brushstrokes, like impressionistic or something like that. Linda said those were really cool. Yeah, I like those illustrations that guy did. And I'm so bad about remembering names, and I should have picked up his card so I would remember his name, give him a shout out on the channel. But I'll probably have to do that. And so next month, the first Friday is what? Is it going to be the 7th? Let me look at what date that falls on. It's the 5th. So July 5th, which is the day after 4th of July. So maybe it won't be as packed. Maybe there'll be less people because they'll be out of town for the 4th of July. Or maybe they'll just be tired from the 4th of July. So they won't be going out on a Friday. Who knows? But we got to ask our friend Carmen to go with us this time because she really loves art. She's even been on one of those cruises where you go look at art and you can purchase it if you want to. I love going to museums and just seeing what they have there and what different artists are creating. And what's great about the internet is you can just start looking on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and just find different artists to follow. And if you like their art, you can it doesn't even cost you anything to follow their page, like their comments, like and comment, I should say, and just give them some love and support. Because, as artists, we struggle. We struggle to know if we're good enough to, if anybody likes our art, and if there's a reason why we should even continue making our art. Maybe we struggle with that. But I would say that that's the lies from the enemy. And, we do have a real enemy, the devil, and he's always trying to stop us from our purpose because God created you for a purpose. And if you're an artist and you're hearing this for the first time, just know that your artwork is needed in this world. And maybe not everyone likes your artwork, but that's not a reason to stop. I think that we all have someone who will like it. In fact, Linda and I, we saw these butterflies that, my daughter didn't care for when I took her with me the month before. She was just kind of like, that's like a 2-year-old made them or 8-year-old. And, but Linda liked them. And I think they do have a style to them you can recognize throughout her artwork. So for me, it was kind of interesting to see, what a gallery puts in their which artists they pick to put in their gallery because they're trying to make some money. And I know galleries are definitely catering to clients and what they want. So that's something too. If you don't want to be in a gallery, you don't have to. Just go on Instagram, start a page, and start posting. And you may not get a lot of likes at first because people just haven't found you. But you will find your tribe, or your tribe will find you, and you will start having people that really like your work, and they'll start supporting you. And so that's kind of what happened with me is like I just started posting my watercolors, and people were like, "Ooh, I like that. Can I buy that?" And I'd be like, really? You want to buy it? Like, wow. So it was kind of surprising that people instantly liked my artwork. And I think after, doing this for almost 4 years and just kind of getting better every year at it, because I try to paint at least weekly, if not daily. I would like to paint daily because that would really help improve my skills and my style. And so that's one thing that, um, if you're struggling to find your style, have you been painting? Have you been getting out your sketchbook? Like, literally, this sketchbook might be $5. Like, I don't even know. Um, and like, I've started with super cheap pan paints. Like, these have been refilled now because I used them all up, and as I used them all up, I refilled them with professional grade tube paints. So those are the ones that you just squirt out. But they dry and they can be used just like a pan paint, which I think this is easier to transport and take places. And um, oh, and that's another thing. Like, if you haven't tried painting plein air, um, some of the some of my students yesterday were saying that there's like a plein air class, like 100 and something bucks, and they were kind of flabbergasted by the price. Of course, if it's being juried, then you're paying for a judge and things like that. But I was saying we could just go down to the pier and start painting one day. That would be so much fun, and like zero cost. Like, let's just plan to meet there and do it. So I really want to start doing that with my students and with my friends. But of course, we always meet at the coffee shop on Thursdays. And so that's a really fun get together where it doesn't cost any money to y'all. You just show up, bring your own supplies. I'm not going to like teach, but if you have questions, I would help you out. And, I always bring my Bible and my watercolors. So I do a lot of Bible art journaling. And that's something that's really exciting, and what got me to be a Christian was Bible art journaling. Like, actually painting in my Bible was what really drew me in to God's word and made me read it every day. And once you start reading the Bible for yourself, you're going to have a relationship with God because his word is alive, and it is very good for helping you understand his love for you. And there's like hard things in the Bible. Just like, I think being a parent is very hard because you have to know when to discipline your child when they've done wrong, and when, like, you have to teach them right and wrong, because like kids are automatically want to do wrong. I don't know why, but they just do. um, they will break every commandment if you let them. But then if you're a good parent, you teach them right and wrong, and you teach them how to get along with others. And I think that's what the whole Bible wants to tell us, the story how to love one another, because God showed us first how to love one another, and him giving his only son to make a way for us to be saved is like mind blowing for me. Like, that's what really changed my heart. And of course, reading my Bible is where I found that out. You can have me tell you till I'm blue in my face, and you're not going to get it until you start reading your own Bible and talking to God, because that's the key. It's a relationship. It's not from sitting in church every Sunday. It's not from um, listening to a lecture. Your parents' faith is not going to do it for you. If you're a young adult and you've always been told to believe something by your parents, you're going to have to figure out for yourself the relationship you have with God, not the relationship your parents have with God. So that's something that I kind of struggle with my kids, because I want them to believe in God and I want them to have a relationship with him, but I can't do it for them. So I have to be faithful in prayer for them. And of course, I believe God is faithful. So he loves my kids, and I know he is not going to abandon them. He's going to make a way for them to know him. So just like me, I was like 45 when I got baptized because I finally understood what it meant to believe in Jesus Christ. So, and to follow him. But I hope that this has been good. I don't know what scripture we were going to put on this, but if we are going to put scripture, my one friend said that I need to do one that is, let me see if I can find it real quick. I may not have, did I save it? Let me try. She said do 1 Corinthians 10:31. So let's look that up. That's what I do all the time. I look it up. But now, Linda, remember we were talking about this. You got to be careful because the Bible's being changed online. So you got to look it up and verify it, I believe. Because I've done that before where I thought, oh, this is, someone did the scripture numbers, the book and the chapter and verse, and it wasn't the right one. So then I learned the hard way after I posted it that it was not the right one. What did I say? 10 something? 10:31? Was it 10:31? Yeah. So see, sometimes the memory is not that great. So this isn't a weird thing when I've started to Google things. Look at how it says AI overview. What does that mean? AI overview. I mean, you can learn more by clicking there. And I think what it's saying is that it's taking stuff off the internet and just reposting it. So we don't know if that's exact. So I may have to go to my actual Bible. Did I bring it in here? I think it's sitting by the couch. Oh my gosh, this is really good if this is what it is. Let me see. Let me see. It says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. And some of the commentary below that says that the purpose of every person is to glorify God, which I think that sounds pretty accurate. So yeah, I might have to do that as the Bible verse on this. Yeah, but I was telling you that the enemy wants to stop your purpose. And if your purpose is to glorify God, he's going to try and just demolish your creative spirit and everything that you do. Oh, you're going to Google it, Linda? Thank you. Let me know if it's the same on your phone. I think these things, I don't know. They are weird. Like, phones are weird. Like, I love that I can Google things, but now I'm starting to worry if it's accurate, if it's real. So definitely in the Bible it says you need to have discernment, and I pray for discernment in a lot of these matters because it can be used, these can be used for good, they can be used for evil. I mean, I'm on it right here, YouTube, Instagram, wherever I'm at, I'm posting, I'm encouraging others, and I feel like that's a positive thing. But there's a lot of stuff out there I don't know. I've been on TikTok and I see things I don't want to see on TikTok, so I kind of don't want to go on there. But I do know people use it, so maybe it is good to post on there just so that there's some light on TikToks and like positive stuff on TikTok. What did you say? Performing advanced function, ability to help you understand. It's too much to remember. Is that what the Google says? Weird stuff, weird times. What are we in? 2024? Yes. So I just want you guys to know that I love you. I pray for you. I want you to know that you're on my heart. And that I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that you support me, especially my friend Linda, my best friend. Mwah! And I am excited to see what you guys paint, and if you want to send them to me, you can do so um, in my email, and just go to my website. So it's stampinturtles.com. Don't forget to like the video and maybe leave a comment, maybe share it. I don't know. It would help the algorithm, which, um, I don't trust in the algorithm, but I know it works. So Linda said, yes, there is more, but too much for me to type. Oh, okay. I love you and I will pray for you. Oh, thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. I appreciate your friendship and all that you do to just make me feel appreciated too. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a blessed one. Mwah.